place where the mornings began with the beating of drums and the ringing of bells, where the bliss of birds chirping could be found at a center garden. My fellow youth ambassadors and Project Bridge leaders, I would like to introduce to you the Gyeongbokgung Palace. Translated into English, Gyeongbokgung means Palace of Shining Happiness. At the beginning of the Joseon dynasty, Seoul was marked as the capital. Construction began in northern Seoul, Korea, for a palace blessed by heaven. It serves as a symbol of supremacy for both the Korean nation and the basis of the Korean royal family. The palace was brought to life in 1394 by King Taejong, who during his fourth reign was initially the first king and founder of the Joseon dynasty. The palace configured a monumental complex of 330 buildings, 5,792 rooms, all over 410,000 square meters. The buildings of greatest importance lie on the central axis, consisting of graceful Korean architecture. For example, the chunyeon employed gives the roof an elegant and airy presence. During the Japanese invasion from 1592 to 1598, all but 10 buildings were destroyed. A Japanese government general building was erected in front of Gyeongbokgung to distract its beauty and further claim superiority. Reconstruction later began in 1867 to revive the hundreds of buildings that were demolished and remove the Japanese government general building. The Royal Throne Hall, Gyeongjong-jin, is Korea's largest surviving wooden structure. The throne was built in 1394, where high-ranking officials gathered to pay respect to their king. It conducted state affairs, held official functions, and received foreign messengers. A king's daily schedule consisted of only work, study, and influence of Confucianism. It was standard for a king to sit through a morning lecture. Their mornings revolved around holding audiences, accepting reports on pending issues, and receiving subjects in one of the council halls. The king listened to reports from the royal secretary transmitters who previously already discussed important official documents. The king also had the responsibility of meeting with the Yang Ban to discuss state affairs. Yang Ban means two classes, referring to the civil and military sides of the government. In the Joseon kingdom, marriage was deeper than between a man and a woman. Instead, it was a marriage between two families. Confucian thought divided gender roles, where male and female roles are complementary. The male attributes are outer towards the public, whereas female roles regard a more domestic nature. In respect to this idea, the palace's layout consisted of the queen and women who lived in the inner quarters and the men who slept in the outer quarters. Each king traditionally had one queen. If a king wanted to divorce his wife, she was either poisoned or forced to return to her previous home, now living as a commoner. A total of 40 women acquired the title queen during Joseon. Besides being divorced, a queen could also be a victim of her husband being overthrown. During Joseon domination, Confucian thoughts were dispersed. Chinese culture was adapted, and Korean culture, science, and trade was influenced. After the invasions from Manchuria in 1627 and 1637, Joseon experienced a period of tranquility for nearly 2 centuries. King Yeonjo and King Jeonjo led a new birth of the Joseon dynasty. In 1895, after the assassination of Queen Min by Japanese agents, her husband, Emperor Gojong, left the palace. The imperial family never returned to Gyeongbokgung. The Joseon dynasty lasted for 5 centuries. It was the last royal and imperial dynasty in Korean history.